about life, let's talk about everything. Safe space for friends just like you and me. No matter where you are, 'cause we never apart. Conversation so fire, got you catching the vibe with Angie and Friends. Angie and Friends, yeah. Angie and Friends. Angie and Friends.
Wow, it's so good to be here in Jamaica.
Awesome.
It really, really is. To be able to have this blessing to come here and celebrate another year around the sun. And now I get to be here with you. And for those of you who have no idea who this incredible man is that I'm so blessed to be here with today, yeah, you. This is my dear friend Everaldo Creary. Is his government name, but we like to affectionately call him Evie, as well as Mr. Pukupoo.
Beautiful. Puku. Wait,
Yes.
I wonder if my mic, yeah. Let me check.
I think you should have that. Yeah, I see it blinking over.
Yeah,
Good to go.
Alright.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
We in here.
Awesome.
With all of this natural beauty of God right behind us.
Sipping some tea, you having smoothie.
Yes. Cheers to that.
Yeah, that's how we're living, you know.
Real good. Everything is what? Everything's Irish.
Everything Iron Man.
Yeah, man.
Not
yeah,
everything
man.
Iron Man. No. Everything Iron Man.
Oh, and by the way, I didn't get a chance to really properly introduce this man. I just told you his name, but let me tell you something. He is an incredible actor, also to musician. I mean, his voice is like a voice of an angel, and he's been in the industry like literally over about 20 years now. And since he's been born, right? Look at that baby face.
Whoa. Yeah.
Since he's been born, he's been in the entertainment industry. But either way, I'll let Evie tell you a little bit more about himself and also, too, how we met. Because, my God.
Yeah, it's been... You said I don't remember much things after a decade. I know it's more
now you're
than
giving
a
away your age. I was trying to give you a compliment, homie. What's up? With that baby face.
Yeah, my age is timeless, you know. But yeah, Everaldo Creary, my family call me Evie, which is just a short name for Everaldo Creary. My middle name is Orlando.
I never knew your middle name.
Sure.
Look at that. See, you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Oh, now I finally think I'm finally meeting you for the first time.
Well,
How about
that's
that?
why it's a pleasure to meet your acquaintance too, man. Angie and Friends.
Yay! Oh God, yes, Angie and Friends. But yeah, so your family is the one that gave you the nickname Evie.
Yeah. It's an interesting first name, Everaldo.
It is.
Because I looked up, it's really just Spanish.
Huh.
Yeah, and anything major about it is just that there was a Brazilian footballer way back, and his name was Everaldo, and he wear number 60. And I love football too. Yeah, and we're not talking American football.
Oh darn! You gotta get down with them Eagles now. Stop playing with me, okay?
Some NFL Eagles.
That's right. You gotta get down. You are no longer my friend. If you don't support the Philadelphia Eagles.
Eagles. Awesome. So I would say when I'm much older, I researched the name. So I think it wasn't my mother's choice though. However, when I checked my grandfather's name, his name is... You ready for it?
I am so ready.
So my grandfather's name is Uriah Clifford Creary. And my father's name is Clifford Everaldo Creary.
Wow.
And my name is Everaldo Orlando Creary. But my son didn't get my middle name. So.
What's up? You skipped that. So tell me a little bit more about that. Like, why do you think your family kind of passed on that name in each individual?
It's interesting. It's only on my father's side, and you know, when I really asked the question, I think it wasn't out of any deep thing. They were just doing it because my other father is just, I don't know. He's like, I got my grandfather, I got my father's middle name, so I think it's a firstborn son thing, So I was like, okay, maybe I should continue this this trend.
Okay.
And my son is 13, my only child.
Oh.
But his name is not Orlando.
I cannot believe you just said that your son is 13, because I think when I met you, your son was like maybe down there, a toddler.
Yeah. A little bit and cute.
Yeah.
No, he's big and
yeah. Now it's all coming back. Wow.
Really? Yeah, man, awesome. And so my brought up in my childhood was mainly in church, So I was born in the church, basically, in a churchyard in
We
Franklin
definitely have that in common.
We have that in common.
We have that in common because my grandmother definitely praised Jesus.
Yeah. She was a Christian.
Yes,
too, yeah?
she was indeed. We had to sit down, and while she opened up her Bible, she was definitely a Bible teacher.
What denomination was she?
She grew up Methodist.
Oh, she's a Methodist.
Yeah, she was a Methodist. Old school, down south.
Okay.
My grandmother, Georgia Mock. I love her dearly. Georgia Mock.
Yeah, that's a holy a black right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Right from the south, from North Carolina. That's where my grandmother was from. And so, yes, we definitely have that in common. But continue. I'd love to hear the story.
Stories for stories.
Yeah.
So my father's a bishop. My mother's an evangelist. Our denomination is revivalist.
Okay.
Baptist. So we wrap our heads like
and I did. Y'all like the way I wrapped my head today? I actually did it for you.
Oh,
I did it for you.
It's awesome, actually. It's nostalgic. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So I grew up in a church. I would say between ages 0 and 16, I didn't know I was going to be an actor or a musician. I was very active in church, choir, Sunday school. I used to play the drum.
Yeah. Them bongos you were playing in.
Bongos, we call them rockling drums. It's like a drum you put on your arm. It's made of goat skin.
Oh.
So it's a 2-piece. You play with 2 sticks on their arm, and you have a bigger piece where you hit with 1 stick, boom, boom. So I was mainly, we rotate. And then I graduated to the drum set, which is, but I didn't play it like all regular, musicians play it. It's the revival way is different.
Well, I can tell you something. My mother would love you because my mother played the drums.
What does that mean with all these synchronicities?
My mother did.
Nice.
She played the drums in the band. I played the flute, and my mother played the drums.
Oh, I see. The talent is, channeling its way through. That's nice.
Yeah,
so your mom is creative.
Yeah, definitely that. Musical. For sure.
Okay.
She was definitely she still is, because she's still living. My mother's 89, young.
Cheers to mama.
Yes, cheers to her.
Yeah.
89 young.
You should sip when we
yeah, definitely. This is so yummy. It's like the most delicious fruit roll in one.
Yeah, and it's not just any fruit, it's Jamaican fruits.
Absolutely, and thank you.
You're welcome.
So the drums. So when you were playing the drums, for the church, were you, when you played those drums, did you also have like your own kind of sound in your head? You know what I'm trying to say to you? You know how like you're playing the drums for the Lord, right? And you're in the church. But how old were you?
Well, at that time playing the drums, no more than 10.
Okay, so you were like about 10ish.
Yeah.
And you're now playing these drums, and like again, I'm trying to get at to where you are right now as a musician.
Yeah.
Did that kind of really spark some of who you are as a musician, playing the drums in the church?
Yeah, more than spark. It was like a musical foundation, because the ear is like a library for frequency.
Yes.
And sound is just, and music is just an organized carnival of sonic, right? So for that tender age, I mean, naturally, it's in our DNA, this Negro spiritual vibes from African thing. But to be born in that space, hearing it, because when I live in a church yard, so and it was church Monday to Sunday.
Every day of the week.
Every day of the week.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's church music putting me to bed. It's the ensemble of the praying, because my church pray together out loud, so it sounds like confusion to other people. But for me, that confusion was it grew into organized chaos, which is to me is like nature too. So I found the musicality within that, like peacefulness, the comfort. Growing up, if the music couldn't put me to bed, if I couldn't sleep, if I couldn't, if it couldn't soothe me to sleep, it wasn't music for me. Growing up, it changed now for sure. We kind of say the music is boring when it does that, but I like music that puts me into that zen. It doesn't really matter the tempo. There's just something about the vibration that gives off. So they are praying for positivity and things. So you'll be just doing your homework or going to bed. You're hearing it like a chorus, and that in itself was like musicality from vocals. Then the drumming, the rattling drum. So there was my godmother used to play the drum before me. So I used to watch her for her stage. You watch her because as a child you have to know your place in that. Them type of people, Pitney often know them place.
Well, I wish these kids today knew their place. Because these kids today, especially, I don't know about here in Jamaica, but in Philadelphia, where I'm from, they don't know their place.
They know your place. So,
they don't know.
So you have to watch and observe until you reach a time when they think you're ready. They introduce you to trying it. So her name is Mother Monroe. She's my godmother, but she's also mother is an office in the church. Like you have evangelist, bishop, pastor, deacon.
Right.
You have mother.
Right.
So she's Mother Monroe.
Like Mother Africa, that's what everybody call the mother there. Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah, there you go.
Bad.
She's
Nice.
I get it.
So she taught me to play the big drum first, which is a simple boom, 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 and that keep the tempo steady for the person playing the rattling drum, the lead repeater we call it, but it's played with sticks under the arm. And that person is more freestyling. So the person playing the big bass drum, it's so important and imperative that we keep the tempo steady, the groove, And within that, you learn basic boom, boom, boom. Then when you feel that, and it's a bass sound. And when you feel you master that, then you can go boom, 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 boom. You can add two more strokes. So I would say, just in that little time frame, I already started trying to invent my own rhythmical patterns. So instead of go boom, 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 boom. So too much, right? I mastered too much. I'm throwing off the lead now because I'm doing a lead on a drum that is not a lead.
Yeah.
So I graduated to the lead because they're like, put that energy on.
Because you was creating your own little thing going on over there. So, and they're like, well, wait a minute, that kind of sounds pretty good. The Lord gonna like that. The Lord is going
Listen,
to like that.
That's not a joke. Like,
It's not.
It's not a joke.
It's not. It's serious.
I'm gonna fast forward to when I started playing the drum sets, which is a bit more like you have your hi-hats and your snare, hi-hat, snare, king, and your toms, and your cymbal, right? So it's more elements for me. But I'm like, I need to try that. So one day, they're like, who's gonna play the drum? So I'm like, me. I never know that it meant who can play the drum.
Right.
And I was just all over the place playing foolishness, basically. They ran me off the drum.
That foolishness turned into the day.
Yeah, but to the point where you're saying the Lord didn't like it, the Lord didn't like that play. I had to come out and just lap my tail around between my leg and think about my life. I was like, you need to learn to do things before you jump into it. And from then, I just started practicing. So the rhythm never left. And at that point, I was playing more music with my godfather. His name is Bishop Blondell Grant. And he's playing the guitar and the keyboard, the organ, because it's not a different church. Organ, so a church organ. And I'm playing the drum set, which is crucial to revival. Because when they get in the spirit and drill bands, it sounds like everybody's on a different rhythm, but it's one rhythm, and the feet and the stamping of the feet and clapping of the hands is the drive of the tempo. And each time the spirit gets more intense, instruments will drop out. So the organ will leave first, then the guitar leave, and it's left with the drummer, just drums and vocals, And if you can't play spiritually, you can't go around that drum, because that is the most important time for them. For you as the drummer to keep that tempo that they're freestyling over in the spirit, making all the spiritual sounds. And the pastor probably freestyling with amen, oh, good evening, church. And it's like, good evening.
Yes.
Good evening, Sister Angie and friends. Oh,
yes.
Hey. Achoo. The Lord tell me.
There you go.
So it was just imagine growing up in just that sound. Like, I didn't know what was being done. That was like important foundational ancestral sounds just loading up in my musical library.
Well, what was being done was the evolution of Pukupoo. That is what was being done. Because as I was listening to you share that story, and thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. It's the first.
And you know what? I felt that in my spirit that it was the first. That's why I said thank you. I was vibing with that. So, the question now becomes, or not so much even the question, the observation is, because I know you, and for those of you out there that are getting to know Evie, aka Mr. Pukupoo. So all I kept seeing was that song. Like, this is how that song, because it's so much unorganized chaos in the music that you have created, along with the other band members, because you come from a band called Nomads. The Nomads. And that is actually how we met, from one of the members, Mr. Sheldon. Big shout out. Yes. And that's how we met, because, again, all this talent amongst you and just all the people around you is just so incredible. When they were doing the movie Better Must Come.
Right, a screening,
Yeah, and it was filmed here in Jamaica. What was the director's name again? Please forgive
Storm
me.
Salter.
That's it, Storm Salter. I don't know how I forgot his name, but I knew his name. And somehow, some way, I don't know how I came across it, to be honest with you, but it just kind of popped up. And I saw it and I was like, oh, matter of fact, because we were connected on social media, me and Storm.
That's true.
And I may have met him. Matter of fact, I did. This was so many years ago. So that's how we stayed connected social. And then I was like, oh, this looks like a pretty good movie. Let me check it out. And then I saw Sheldon, and then I connected with him via social media.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, to come to find out, we have some roots, the same roots in Philly, that his mother lived in Philadelphia. And then I don't know if I reached out to him or what. I might have complimented the film. And I'm like, and then he had mentioned he was coming to Philadelphia. And I said, oh, well, I'm going to go see this film. I'm going to go to the premiere. And so I went to the premiere. And it was some people there, and then Sheldon, I just went up to him, was like, hey, I'm the girl. Angie and Friends, right? Angie making a friend.
Angie and Friends.
So, and I'm like, and so that's how we met, and it was so cool. And then here you come.
Yeah.
Okay.
Full circle.
And here you come through his band and the movie, because you were in that movie. So tell me about that. How did that come about, you getting in Better Must Come? And was that your first film? Feature film?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. Yes, it was my first feature-length film.
Okay.
And it came about in 2006, 2007. When Storm Salter, I think is from the Negro side of the island, which is like North Coast. And he's pursuing his filmmaking career. And so Better Must Come was his baby's project. Like, that project, as a creative, you always have this project that you feel like this is project. So it was his passion. So he came to Kingston looking for talented actors. And his first place, which I will always admire him for doing, his first place to go seek actors was at the theater. Right?
Yes.
That is very important. Especially for Jamaica. So he came to a play that I was in at the time called Jamaica Duality, which was also my first commercial play. So he saw that, and he digged the performance so much that he's like, bro, I don't know what role you'll be playing, but you have to be in my movie. Nice. And I was like, of course, King, what you talk about? And me, I got introduced to all of the actors that we meet in your movie.
Wow, so it was you.
So well,
it was you.
So I was just hyped up because at the time there was no film. I mean, technically there is no film industry in Jamaica, but then there was absolutely like none. You had Chris Brown, the great director. We were just coming out of Third World Cup, Dancehall Queen. We have One Eye Countryman, Lunatic. And when I was at University of Technology, I used to see these, posters. They were up like museum. It was like ancient stuff, I was like, why does film in Jamaica feel like it's just archive, old Asian stuff? So I was aspiring to transition into film. Okay. So this was the opportunity. I was excited. I was like getting everyone who in my circle was like, so that's what I did. I remember when I was like, yo, Sheppy, today we are going audition. Sheppy's like, audition thing, because I never yet get it.
That sound like him. You did totally. That's how you know y'all been friends a lifetime. Because that sounded, I'm telling you guys, if you knew, Sheldon, with AKA Sheppy, then you would be like, wow, that's, I'm like, is he here? Did he just walk up? What's up? Where he at?
But I understand what you were saying, because a lot of people don't know, but as an actor, we'll do 99 auditions to only get one. You know, and that is because it's about talent, yeah, but a lot of things has to eclipse. You know, align right for it to just kick off. You know.
That is like powerful. That everything has the eclipse on the day there is going to be a full eclipse.
Wow, that's some awesome time.
Isn't that something?
You couldn't even avoid it. That's synchronicities, man.
Yeah, look at all that. Look at all that.
Cheers to the universe.
Yes, absolutely, my friend. Absolutely.
So yeah, that's when we went and we did the audition, and that's how Sheldon landed the lead role in the movie.
Yeah.
So, and it was the rest is history after that. It's probably the most modern day iconic film from out of Jamaica.
Wow,
I mean, now we have the Bob Marley movie, which is.
Oh yeah, we're gonna definitely talk about that Bob Marley movie for sure. But before we go there, that is so powerful, and what you did, and it's not to say that, because I know you, and I know that you don't, because I don't even know if you even shared that story before, or really often share that story, or if anybody, honest, I've never even, I don't think I've heard.
To be honest, I don't share it, but to be honest, Sheldon shared that.
He does? Yeah. Okay, that's wonderful. I've never heard an interview with him or not of him sharing it, but the bottom line is what I'm going to say is, regardless if he shares it or not, to know you is to know that that's just who you are. You know, you're not trying to just be blessed, you're a blessing too. And those are the type of people who are my friends.
Angie and Friends.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, we'll be toasting on all the show. We'll be toasting.
Oh, shit, we would toast. But it is, and that's just the beauty of how the law of attraction, if you will call it, how that works. You attract like-minded people or the people with the same heart set, and that's a beautiful thing. And those are the people, no matter what happens in life, they're going to be friends forever, right? You know, I mean, because I haven't seen you in, wow.
Eons.
Yeah.
Say, 20. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's almost
a minute.
Yeah, it's a minute.
It's been a minute.
But we still stay connected. You've always, you know, blessed me up on the gram. You know, you always reach out. You're always one of the first to, like, you know, let me know things too whenever it's, you know. And but the thing is, you know, I don't know. There's with true connection, there's this invisible link, you know, that is like, it's intangible, so it's unbreakable. You know? And sometimes we have to learn to keep a connection alive, you know, in the distance like that, because, you know, he said the law of attraction. If I'm at a space where because a lot of friends complain about that, you know, like if they don't keep in touch, they lose the friendship of some people. Some people get upset, and I never had that issue in my band too, when we were together, you know, living together and all them things. Like, I remember when band members used to go off to school, you know, overseas and things, and maybe when we link up, it's like, yo, may I come in weekend. I'm saying, and then we text back, all right, yeah, man, I pick you up. It's not like, look for when you link me, only link me when you want something to do. No, it's not that case. It's like we understand the journey of each person. So we know that, yeah, you're going out to do your thing. If my mind run on you, which it always does, you can do two things. I can link you and say, bless you up. Or I can bless you up here. And this one is so important too. I read that in Deepak Chopra's book called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success.
Absolutely.
Where he spoke about the law of giving and receiving.
Yes.
And, you know, he says you shouldn't go anywhere without giving, you know, bringing a gift. But he says if you can't afford a gift, you should bring a prayer, good words, a blessing,
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying the irony is that it's unable. You cannot see that kind of blessing,
Right.
but it's the greatest form of blessing.
Yeah.
So when I read that, that has been my daily mantra to everything in my presence.
Mm-hmm.
So I would always be like blessing people without saying, hey, I just prayed for you, man. Because, it's like giving a gift and then
Taking it away.
taking it away or
Taking
saying,
it away.
hey, look, I gave her that
Yeah.
gift.
Yeah.
That's my time I gave over there.
Yep.
Yeah. So when I started doing that, I realized it created a greater bond with me and the universe.
Yes.
That genuinity with the universe. Me creating genuine compassion, which is not about it charges me to do that. Because if I forget to do it, I'm like, oh, and that it becomes a praying for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I'll be in the bus or I'll be driving. They come up and they beg me. I don't have anything to give them sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that concept, I don't just think about giving money. So if I don't have it, I say, bless up my brother, I'm gonna have it today, but it don't know stay protection of the streets, please.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I have a banana here, so I don't know if you want it. A piece of herb, you want a piece of herb?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then some people are connected on that level.
Mm-hmm.
Accept it.
Accept it.
Even the words alone, them say, alright, my boss.
Mm-hmm.
Some who are just way off, them cuss me.
Yeah.
Throw back the silver.
Mm-hmm.
One time, I not carry my son and we drive up at Waterloo in Kingston, that's beside Devon House. And you would come and say, yo, wipe up the window and think, don't move this that originally. Hey. My son is like, Dad, give him some. So I was like, alright. I don't really have anything. Take up the silver then and give the street youth. The street youth, the windscreen wiper, throw back the silver in the car and say, give your son that. See? $1,000 I give me and I say, what? I said, but maybe he's my boss. Maybe I'm nowhere. Maybe I even pay me, but that was just a moment to show that some people,
right,
they are still so materialistic that,
and they're not ready to receive.
not ready to receive.
They're just not ready to receive.
Not ready to receive.
And you know what? Because that is sadly some people's hearts, because their hearts have been so hardened, and because they haven't gave enough. You understand? It's like your heart gets hardened when you don't give. People think that your heart gets hardened when you don't get.
It's actually when you don't give.
And it's when you don't give.
And it's a type of giving. It's a giving without expecting a return.
Absolutely.
Especially a return from the person you're giving.
Yeah.
The return, if you're going to pray a return, it's from the universe. And the universe knows your inner truth.
Also, I can add gratitude. It's just thank you.
Yeah, the gratitude is the best food for the universe.
Yeah.
It's like, that's currency it works on.
Right.
And it knows if your gratitude is on an high altitude.
Listen, it's almost like the saying they say, your attitude is your aptitude. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I realized I can't lie with that inner being, that inner connect with the universe. You can't. That's what they say, God is always watching you and all the things.
Mm-hmm.
Or some people refer to the conscience. It's that inner conversation is there. It's right. It's on your truth.
Yep.
So you can't lie to it. It knows, and it's gonna reciprocate whatever energy you're ordering.
It's interesting because right now, I'm reading a book called Becoming God.
Oh wow.
And and it talks about this, and like you said, it doesn't lie, but what lies is your ego, because your ego is your enemy and is also death. And it's just talking about how if you want to die, You stick with the ego.
Stick with
If you
the
want to
ego.
live, then you move towards the light,
Mm.
which is the truth.
Yeah.
Because the ego is the lie and the truth is the light.
You know, that's very interesting because as an actor, right, the more I delved into the craft was the more I got exposed to these things I'm talking to about. It wasn't just, even though I might be exposed to it through church for sure, but the clarity came
Right.
through the study of acting and the study of the mind. And for acting, it's about removing the ego to rebuild or to take on the ego of the character. That's how I approach it. And with doing that, I realized that that process of able to remove your ego and address a next one, understand the next one, try to embody a next one, is just a metaphor or an imagery for when they say, you know, you go in someone else's shoes.
Right.
And that muscle helps you with compassion, empathy, sympathy. So,
putting yourself in someone else's shoes.
Right. And if you do it without judgment, because that's a very big thing,
right,
it's an issue. It's about trying to understand. And then being able to do that and knowing that it doesn't affect you. So to come across that ability, I was like, what? I could go into all these characters and it don't affect me. So
right.
Then I was like, who am I? Because when I go into this, there are things that, lessons I learned that I can take as nuggets.
Right.
And that's what life is, you know. You see a butterfly, you're like, it was a caterpillar. You get nugget. Life is about transformation, you know.
Yes, it is.
You got to metamorph. So you get everything in life is a nugget for you to add to your own truth. So with acting now, a lot of my, students who are coach, right? They would say, when I explain this, they would ask me, then who am I? You know, who is you? And my example is like, if imagine a whiteboard and it's clear and you're writing on it and you have a rubber, you can erase it. Now the writing you're writing on it, that's the ego.
Right.
And you can rub that off. Put some other ego there. Right? So if that is the ego, who are you?
Right.
And I'm saying it sounds like the board, the whiteboard is asking me,
who are you?
Who are you?
Who are you?
Who are you?
Yeah. And now your ego says, I am.
I am a tree.
Yes, you are a tree. And you're a very good tree. And let me tell you something. Talking about that, you know, I love that single you did with Lee Scratch Perry.
Yeah,
that is like my new favorite song, guys, just so you know. I absolutely love it. And how did that come about? How did you end up doing that single and getting the opportunity to meet Lee Scratch Perry? Now, was that before One Love was made or after One Love was made?
Before.
Okay, so let's just talk about then the before, and then we're going to lead up to One Love and what you did in One Love.
I mean, all these chapters of my life is such a book in itself. So I have this friend, her name is Britta, big up yourself, Britta Steinman. She's a developer and like an hotelier. She's from Germany and Indonesia.
Okay.
So she's campaigning this earthy way of building with bamboo. But it's not with the bamboo exposed to the air. It's with the bamboo enclosed in. So when it finished, it looks like a regular building. But she's replacing steel and stuff. And it domes. And she do that in Indonesia. And there was 160 earthquakes one year in Indonesia. All of these places were flat. Indonesia were covered in debris. People displaced. You know, living in terrible conditions, in tents. And she invited us there to just as a charity tour to give away stuff and bring music and stuff to them.
That's
you know.
beautiful. So
But
you guys went there as a band with Nomads?
with the Nomads,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Because of it. So now, with seeing that, you know, she's like realized that no one is it can be promoted more. Anyway, she come to Jamaica with the energy to do that. Link up with Lee Scratch Perry's wife,
Okay.
Mary, big up Mary.
Mm.
And so when Bridget said to me, I'm going to link up Lee Scratch Perry's wife down by his, I was like, you're not going alone. I'm going. But the thing is, the Nomads opened maybe twice for Lee Scratch Perry before.
Okay.
But we're open for him, but never really,
Yeah. Probably just too much going on. Yeah,
he's a star.
And not only that, it's just a show.
Sometimes you don't even know who's opening for him.
Absolutely.
So we opened for him in LA.
Yeah.
We were booked for a show in Dubai.
Nice.
So while he was performing, me and Sheppy left on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how close we got, me personally. I remember one time we booked him up on the next show in Jamaica. But this was an opportunity to be in his space.
Right. Now, before you go into being in his space, because for those who are out there that are watching and listening that may not know who this legendary man is here in Jamaica, Lee Scratch Perry, can you just tell them a little bit about who that is and why he's so important to this country?
Mr. Rainford, Lee Scratch Perry, the upsetter. Rolling Stones dubbed him the mad scientist and made him a part of one of the. He's in the top 100 musicians, greatest musicians of all time. No, he's a producer and a vocalist. He has been working with the Wailers, Bob Marley, Max Romeo, the Congos. He's responsible for introducing a lot of genres in music. He was the first to do sampling, which was to put a crying baby on a musical track. And that gave a whole new idea to people. Now we have sampling up to the highest level as Drake. Sampling is a great thing now. He's arguably responsible for the birth of reggae. He's the inventor of dub and dub music.
Okay.
Dub music.
Mm-hmm.
He and King Tubby are the two pioneers of dub music. Mm-hmm. His version is totally different, of course, and that gave way to EDM, house music. So when you're studying music, his name has to come up.
Okay.
And he's a abstract artist. He paints. He's a creative. He's eccentric. He's eclectic.
Very.
And he's a very highly spiritual being.
Mm-hmm.
So because of his indelible works with so many, great musicians from rock bands to, so many. I mean, you'd have to research him. Please do that.
Definitely.
But he's so indelible. He's one of Bob's favorite musicians and producers to work with. They have so many music early days, A lot of people tend to want to favoritize his production with the Wailers and Bob and thing, but for me it's all a collage of the great Jamaican influence on music in the world.
And now you are at this man's house. Okay? I mean, I'm just sitting here like feeling like so jealous that I didn't get an opportunity to meet him. But I feel like I'm meeting him through you right now. So that's I'm gonna have to live with that one.
Okay.
But now you're at this man's house who's a great icon of yours and so many around the world. So tell me, I gotta know, and you gotta tell all my friends here, what was your first reaction and what did you do?
Well, when we reach, you can't go unless you're invited.
I
So,
bet.
so when we reached, he never came down to us in the first day.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I was just there.
How did that make you feel?
I know him. I know the type of person he is.
Mm-hmm.
So I was already gingerly going down there because
With your head,
yeah,
you had your head down,
yeah, like,
and you don't even walk with your head down, but you were like, "I'm going to bow to the king."
right now. Because if I was like, because if he's like cross with your energy, he's gonna send you out the room for sure.
Oh, that's great.
So, and
I
I
love
know
it.
he's unapologetic with that. It's not like he's rude,
Right.
but if you cross his energy sensitivity at all, he's not gonna
he would have been my best friend because that is me.
Strike with his vocals.
Do not cross my. Was he an Aries? When was his birthday?
Goodness, March 20th.
Close. He one day missing because it's March 21st. So he's all. I'm going to adopt him as an Aries because he's a day away.
He's on the cusp. Yeah.
He's on the cusp. So that's where he got it. Okay.
So it wasn't. I was prepared for that. You know, he's a man of his own timing and energy and mood. Plus, he was already in his 80s. So for me, I was going down there to like get a conversation with him about my true voice.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, because you know, I've researched him and I see what he has done for all these artists that he worked with and produced with. The sound he created is just unique to that relationship. So I was like, if I could get this as a part of my career, especially it was a journey for me too. It's a new chapter of where, ironically, a lot of people were like, you know, you're so talented and thing, but I was still insecure.
Okay.
About my vocal.
That's major for you to say that, and I'm so proud of you of actually admitting and saying that because that's so hard for a lot of people to say.
Yeah, they don't want to be vulnerable.
Right. So thank you.
I mean, but you have to. Yeah, I mean, because I'm my own critique too. So if I think I'm not there yet, I appreciate your compliment for sure. Mm-hmm. But I know when I'm not there yet. Sometimes I might be overthinking.
To me, you are.
Thank you very much. So it's a balance. I might be overthinking it, but I'm like, I'm going to the guru.
Okay.
So I was willing to be patient with anything. So it was about being humble, which humility for me is not an issue.
No, not at all.
No. So,
which is a beautiful part about you.
Give thanks. So when it took him out a day and a half, when he finally came down the stairs, I was just, nervous. It's coming out. It's coming out. And then we sat around the table and it was just the grandfather I never had. Because I never get to meet any of my grandfathers. Okay. But he's the grandfather I wish, I was like, and I wish you were my grandfather.
Did you tell him that?
I tell him that people say he's my father,
Well,
because the irony is that I never place myself as no comparative soul to this virgin. It was my fans, those people keep on saying, yo, this is your spirit clan. This is I see you through him. This is like your vibe. This is your vibe.
It's your vibe.
You must be son, or you say, I was like, so I went to him with that. I was saying, people always say, yeah, my father. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, man. True. I was like, yeah. And were
you nervous?
Always nervous. He was sitting beside me, my friend, and his wife was. So it was like a round table. Okay. And, we were discussing a lot of things, a lot of deep spiritual things.
That's beautiful.
One of the was the topic of the same duality. So his wife is complaining about a potato that he carried upstairs.
But you know what? I'm sorry. But, people swear up and down because he's a megastar. His wife probably was bowing at his feet every day. And she was probably the boss.
She's the boss. And
More than
actually,
likely, she was the boss.
she's the boss, and I admire her so much because thanks to she allowed him to be, you know,
Mhm.
and that's what a creative person like
Oh
Lee
yeah.
Scratch Perry needs. Someone who understands.
I just think people need that.
People need that.
But people, let me tell you something. People need it, but the reason why people don't get it because they're too busy lying to themselves. So until you can be your true authentic self, no one can accept you for who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, nobody else is going to know, right?
That's true.
So that's so key, and that's where the evolution of life comes into play. And this is the thing with me, and it's always been what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
You know, and I think you already know that about me. Is what you see is what you get, guys. And but it would be so much more genuine love in this world if people was just authentically just themselves.
Yeah, because
Whether it's good or bad or
Or bad.
indifferent.
also it's like I call it safe space. So
Mm-hmm.
she said that is Thanksgiving service because I don't want to secure her. She said he is the 4-year-old child who never grew up, and I was like, what a privilege
Yeah.
to maintain that innocence, and it's exactly true.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw this 8-year-old man, he was such a child. He's still entertained by nature. He just want to go. When he goes out into nature, nature get excited. The wind wasn't. It's blowing now. Ants are coming out now. He's wandering off. He's coming back with a stone. You know, what does this look like to you? And you're like, I don't know. And he's like, in turn, I said, Africa. And he's like, oh, this actually looks like Africa. You find that.
He don't convince you to rock look like Africa. Whether it look like Africa or not, it's gonna look like Africa, right?
Because you can see, he keeps finding these gems. I'm telling you.
Oh, that's funny.
Like it will be. See, I don't know if they can see, but there was just a hummingbird just now.
Oh, I saw the hummingbird this morning. I got so excited and I wanted to capture it, but I couldn't look at it.
That is what it makes me in tune with more. And not just to be in tune with, but knowing that is the source of the creativity. If I'm not connected with nature exciting me,
Right.
you know, then I won't see that nature is also excited for me.
You know what? And it's so funny you say that because you're talking about it being an equal exchange. Because people, like, again, I came here to celebrate my birthday. I wanted to be one with nature and God, right?
Yeah.
And then have this opportunity to sit here with you and have this conversation. So again, thank you so much. And you know, people don't realize that nature talks to you just as much as you're now talking to it. And we've had that conversation about the trees actually talking to each other. And I was so fascinated. I mean, just if you could just real quickly, because we definitely got to finish our Lee Scratch Perry story and that journey. But this conversation, as you know, is just so simply organic, and it's just going to go wherever it flows.
Yeah, no.
And I think everybody out there listening is going to be super excited just from everything overall and just where it's going. But what was that all about? That trees actually communicate with each other.
Well, growing up over the years, I've always heard of people talking about talking to trees and trees talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, being a revivalist, the herbs is very close to us. We use the herbs on a spiritual level, so people go to bed and dream up a certain plant and go find it, or have a certain type of sickness, and they'll go to bed and the spirit or God will tell them what plant to use.
That's powerful.
So I was like, I didn't remove the concept. I know something was going on,
right,
connecting with trees. Then as we get more modernized, more information is available, science is getting more in depth. I'll be like, oh, wow, it's real, you know, because in our culture, they say you're not supposed to pick a plant or a bush to make tea after 6 p.m.
Why is that?
To be honest, my interpretation is that it is sleeping,
Oh, wow.
you know.
Okay.
So I guess everything is gone to bed, so the nutrients aren't that lively in it.
Wow, that's pretty deep.
So, but I was as a youth, it's gone to bed, so I was like, why wake it up to come and do something for me? It's very selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why we pray over our meals.
Absolutely.
So as I get older, I will, like, if I'm going to pick a sibling orange, I'll be like, oh, thank you for the sibling orange.
Yeah.
You know? And then there's this farmer who tell me that when they cut a tree for it to fall and not grow back because the tree is in the wrong place for them,
Mm-hmm.
they will cuss you out if you touch the tree before it falls. Because if you touch it, that tree will use your energy to not ever die.
Wow, that's powerful.
And then Neil deGrasse, I was scrolling through and Neil deGrasse talk about the mycelium as a way that the trees communicate and give vital chemicals to a dying tree for it to survive another 100 years. So there's this communication.
It's like family.
It's a Wi-Fi of family.
Yeah, it's family.
And it's even deeper that the mushrooms also help with that webbing of communication.
So is that why you always see the mushrooms at the tree trunk, how they grow out?
That's what it's saying.
Wow.
So
Isn't that something?
So within the earth, this massive energy of unity, you know, and then we're supposed to think that it's not a soul, it's not, you know, a being, you know, because religion tends to give us that kind of hierarchy feel, you know, which subsequently make us feel better than things, because we've got dominion of the animals and plants.
Right.
But we're still connected to the same source.
Right, I understand.
So we're not excluded of what the gift of life is. So when you study them more, you see the amount of work they're doing. You're like, that's actually like making a plane fly.
Right.
You know, so we're on the same level. It's just a concept. And you have plants. Neuroscience is proving it because there's a plant that catch bugs. And they're saying when the bug goes in, it doesn't immediately close. It waits until the bug or the whatever gets comfortable.
Sounds like humans.
So that's a human.
That sounds like humans. Is what you're saying, right? They wait till they get comfortable before they, right?
Yeah. So then I was like, yeah, I'm going to treat the trees a little bit more like a family, you know. So even though we eat them at times, it's
I eat them all the time.
Yeah.
I do.
You know, we have their fruits.
Trees and plants.
No, it's a blessing. You know, we have it's a blessing. We're here for each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To help each other survive.
To help each other survive.
Yeah.
And I would say, back to the Scotch Prairie, when we came down, I was talking about the potato you brought up to the room. And the potato was rotting, but it was getting purple. And he's saying, oh, ironic, it's getting into its worst state, but yet it's getting more beautiful. And he's talking to me about the duality in life, and that that good and bad exists in every person.
Yes.
That God and that devil. You know? And that kind of accountability is scary for a lot of people. Even when he was saying it to me, it was very scary, because that means everything is within me.
It is.
And it's all about what I unearth.
It is.
What I nurture.
It is.
And also, because it's also in you, it's also what I unearth out of you, what I'm nurturing with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you told me earlier on that, you know, you are who you are, and that is, and you always connect with people.
Right.
And, you know, I was saying it in a limited sense, like, you know, like minds, you know, connected. But no, you were like, no, it's like you're able to bring that positive side out of people, which a lot of people are walking around with their devil at the front,
Right.
and never get to experience someone help them coax the God out of them.
Right. You're right. I mean, and again, that's all in the book that I'm reading right now. But let me tell you something. That comes with a lot of responsibility, my friend.
Yeah, you have to take responsibility.
And it does. I have a lot of responsibility for a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
And this is why I wanted to do Angie and Friends. Because, for someone's out there that's listening or watching right now, and it's like, well, who is this Angie? Well, you're learning right now, right? Through my friends. And
That is
I've touched so many people's lives, like thousands of people worldwide. And I don't know why God chose me to do that, but He did. But again, it's a great responsibility to have that gift. And
That's the word.
sometimes I used to get angry about it because it's a lot, you know.
You're just chosen. You're just chosen because everybody can do it, but not everybody is passionate about doing it.
And I am passionate.
And, last night I was thinking to myself about something like this too. Like, I was just saying, with all that is transpiring in my creative journey, I was like, why am I still so passionate about this? You know what I mean?
Exactly. I question that too.
I'm like, why is this? I'm recognizing that something's happening beyond my, my will, kind of.
It's just in your DNA.
Yeah. And people would even understand. It's like, I can't fool myself. Like,
no,
it has to be this.
You can't stop it even if you try.
No.
Because let me tell you, I've tried to stop it. People have tried to stop me.
You try to ignore it.
Yeah.
You're like, hey,
exactly. And it's like, but I'll tell you this, but when people try to stop me, that just kind of gets my wheels turning and keep going even more.
Yeah,
it's like, what? Wait a minute. Did you just try to come disrupt my life, to disrupt, my being and my gift from God? No, we can't do that. We can't do that. We can't allow that. Because I do know my gift. That doesn't mean I always wanted it. But now that, again, as you get wiser because you grow, you just say, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I accept it. And guess what? Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
And that's why you are a tree. Because the nature of a tree is to grow.
Yeah.
Keeps growing.
Yep.
So I don't know if the mindset in a tree is like, oh, I made it.
No.
It's always, there's more out of the sun I should reach towards it.
Yeah.
So when I was at Lee Scratch, all this was just happening for me with the way I'm conversing. And I was just drawing back with the connection with him and his wife. And, so, this man has done so much, he's so quirky, he's a baller, but he's so much more Rasta to me than so many of the dreaded Rastas. I love that he's just into the art. He has done so much, but yet even to brag about that, he's more just adamant about his energy in his space, his creative space. But most of all, I saw that he was, I don't want to use the word tired, but it was no time for him to relax.
Yeah.
So what I went down there for, I took that out of my mind because I've been disturbing him to be like saying, so, want to work on a song together and find my voice and,
Right.
Nah. So I just let that go and just live with him.
Right.
And that one day turned out to be 4 days.
Angie and Friends.